In secret locations across the globe, billionaires are preparing for the end of the world. But what exactly are they building and why? From luxury bunkers to entire underground cities, this is a look inside the doomsday plans for the world's richest people. The question is, do they know something we don't? Let's start with what sparked this survival obsession. When the world shut down in 2020, billionaires didn't just stock up on supplies, they started disappearing. Some left to remote compounds, others quietly moved assets offshore or into hard land holdings. It wasn't panic buying, it was something colder, more calculated. For them, the pandemic was just confirmation of what they'd already suspected. Modern society is a fragile illusion. Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, once casually admitted he had guns, gold, antibiotics, and a patch of land he could escape to in crisis. He wasn't alone. Elon Musk was warned repeatedly about the risk of AI wiping out humanity, but he's also voiced concerns over civil unrest, pandemics, and runaway tech. Their solution isn't to wait and see, it is to prepare. These people operate on foresight. When they see climate models worsening, food systems under strain, and financial institutions fraying, they don't wait for FEMA. They build their own plans. For many, bunkers and backup properties aren't signs of fear, but insurance policies. The same mindset that pushes them to disrupt industries tells them to expect disruptions everywhere. This isn't prepper culture with canned beans and flashlights. This is predictive survival backed by billions, designed to ride out chaos not for weeks, but for as long as necessary. So what does billionaire survival actually look like? Billionaire bunkers are not survival shelters in the old school sense. They are engineered safe zones, sealed ecosystems designed to function like miniature civilizations, hidden from a world in collapse. The construction starts with thick blast-resistant concrete, often layered with steel and lead shielding to withstand everything from earthquakes to nuclear shockwaves. But it's what's inside that makes them remarkable. A top-tier bunker doesn't rely on outside grids. It runs on a closed-loop system with its own water purification, solar or geothermal energy, and advanced waste recycling. Some even come with vertical farms to grow food year-round, in completed isolation. At that point, the line between bunker and biosphere starts to blur. Location is everything, and the remoteness is no accident. Some are built deep beneath mountain ranges or buried in desolate terrain, accessible only by private jet or hidden roads. The exact coordinates, often kept secret from all but a selective few, sometimes even hidden from construction crews using staggered work contracts to avoid leaks. The cost of these facilities can be astronomical. Basic models start around $3 million, but fully customized complexes built for multi-family occupancy or elite enclaves easily run into the $50 to $100 million range. These aren't shelters, they are investments in survival. One security consultant once said, "You're not just building a safe room, you're building a last resort civilization." But these aren't just concrete boxes underground. These bunkers don't feel like shelters, they feel like something out of a sci-fi billionaire's dream. Deep beneath layers of rock and security lies a different world, one where disaster feels like a distant rumor. Companies like the Oppidum in the Czech Republic are designing underground estates that include wine cellars stocked with decades-old vintages, cinemas with custom acoustics, and spas that rival anything above ground. There is no bare concrete here, only polished marble, designer lighting, and hidden panels that reveal entire rooms at the push of a button. Lighting systems are carefully engineered to mimic sunrise and sunset, with ceilings projecting simulated skies and curated greenery to maintain mental balance. Even the air smells curated, pumped with neutralizing filters that feign hints of lavender or pine. Rising S Company in Texas has gone as far as building shelters with indoor swimming pools, fully equipped gyms, and even game rooms for kids. One client reportedly asked for a replica of their exact living room above ground. Same furniture, same scent, just so the transition would feel seamless if they ever had to run. Underground, yes, but no one's roughing it here. Still, comfort is just one part of the plan. Survival isn't just about weathering a nuclear blast or riding out a viral outbreak. It's about what comes after. For the ultra-wealthy, the greatest threat might be desperation from the outside. That's why their bunkers are guarded like fortresses. Survivor condo in Kansas is locked behind a 16,000-pound blast door and guarded by ex-military personnel trained for worst-case scenarios. Inside, surveillance monitors every inch, and multiple biometric checkpoints prevent access to high-security areas. It's less like a home and more like a classified military installation. One hedge fund manager reportedly hired a private firm to draft post-collapse loyalty contracts for his staff, asking how to ensure obedience when money might become worthless. The answer: offer food, land, and safety before the collapse. Even location secrecy is a core defense. Contractors often build sections without knowing the full layout, and GPS signals are blocked to keep sites invisible. In some cases, entire facilities are coded under fake names and false projects to mask their real purpose. Nobody trusts that laws or civility will survive, so they plan for a world where power comes from whoever holds the last secure place. Where are these bunkers actually located? When it comes to where billionaires are hiding their bunkers, the truth is buried, literally. One of the most talked about hotspots is New Zealand. Peter Thiel bought nearly 500 acres of Lake Wanaka and got citizenship fast-tracked. The land, remote, pristine, and surrounded by silence. It's not alone. Other tech elites have quietly bought land across the South Island, drawn by the country's isolation, political neutrality, and natural resources. In the US, the Midwest is bunker central. Old missile silos from the Cold War, like those in Kansas and South Dakota, have been repurposed into deep earth survival condos. Their rural settings, hardened structures, and distance from major cities make them ideal for long-term retreat. Across the Atlantic, the Swiss Alps have long hosted secret bunkers built into mountainsides. But now private buyers are investing in reinforced properties hidden beneath chalets and ski lodges. In Norway, whispers point to high-security shelters built near Svalbard, not far from the global seed vault, one of the most symbolically secure places on Earth. None of these locations are ever confirmed. That's the point. If you know where it is, it's already too exposed. For billionaires preparing for collapse, location isn't just strategy, it's survival insurance. When Peter Thiel bought his land near Lake Wanaka, people assumed it was for a retreat, but insiders whispered otherwise. The land was isolated, secure, and near a private airstrip, not far away. Multiple high-net-worth individuals, including unnamed Silicon Valley founders, have acquired similar plots, often via trust or shell companies to stay invisible. One real estate agent in Queenstown once told The Guardian it had become a quiet gold rush, saying they don't even visit. They just send someone to survey the land and wire the money. Meanwhile, deep in the American Midwest, old Cold War missile silos have been reborn. In Kansas, a decommissioned Atlas silo has been transformed into a luxury vertical shelter known as Survival Condo. It's not just a hideout, it's a small city underground. Further north in South Dakota, there is a project converting nearly 600 World War II-era bunkers into private shelters shielded by 18-inch thick concrete and steel. They're selling fast not to average families, but to CEOs and former intelligence officials who believe proximity to urban chaos is a risk not worth taking. Across the Atlantic, the Swiss Alps have become a quiet fortress. Switzerland's neutrality, mountainous geography, and deep buried infrastructure make it ideal. Swiss company Swiss Mountain Bunker AG has offered hidden bunkers embedded in rock designed to house priceless art, sensitive data, and people with enough zeros in their bank accounts. The coordinates are never public, locations are encrypted, air access is private, and roads leading in are often disguised as logging routes or hiking trails. And who exactly is building these survival castles? There is a silent arm race happening, not with weapons but with blueprints. Companies like Vivo's Survival Condo and Atlas Survival Shelters are the go-to names behind the most secure residences money can buy. These aren't your typical construction firms. They operate in secrecy, fueled by NDAs so strict that even subcontractors don't even know who the client is or what they're building into the ground. Vivo's built a massive complex beneath the limestone of Indiana and another in Germany, offering full-scale private living spaces buried under reinforced mountain rock. Their clients, unknown always. One executive simply said, "We prepare for the elite, period." Survival Condo took a Cold War missile silo and turned it into vertical luxury, each unit customized with everything from aquaponic gardens to tactical armories. Demand is so high that units sell out before construction even finishes. Atlas Survival Shelters work faster. but the elite custom orders can take years. A bunker once disguised as a barn on a Texas ranch reportedly cost $8 million and took 28 months to complete, built under absolute silence. But let's get into some specific names. Peter Thiel's remote New Zealand property isn't just a retreat, it's a rumored bolt hole with strategic geography and discreet construction. Jeff Bezos owns a mountain in West Texas with a clock meant to last 10,000 years. But many believes what's buried beneath it matters more than timekeeping. Bill Gates, now the largest private farmland owner in America, keeps acquiring land with silent consistency, sparking speculation that it's part of a broader survival strategy. Some billionaires stay quiet. Thiel says nothing. Others like Musk misdirect with big public ideas while keeping Earth-based plans under wraps. There is a reason. Secrecy protects, but hints still signal power. And these billionaires aren't planning to hide alone. The bunkers may be owned by billionaires, but survival isn't always a solo act. Behind every sealed blast door is a guest list, a carefully curated roster of who's allowed in when the world outside goes quiet. Immediate family is a given, close friends maybe, trusted advisors and legal guardians of wealth if you're proven loyal enough. These decisions aren't emotional, they're strategic. But someone still has to keep the lights on. That's where the essential workers come in. Security teams, medics, IT specialists and engineers, people whose value doesn't fade when society does. In some bunkers, there are staff quarters built specifically for them, separate from the main residence. Their purpose is clear. Make sure the system runs, the rich stay alive, and the plant stays intact. But how long can they really stay underground? Inside a properly stocked billionaire bunker, survival isn't measured in days, it's measured in years. The survival condo in Kansas claims each unit can support residents for up to 5 years, with enough food, water, and energy to sustain total isolation. Power comes from redundant solar arrays and diesel backups. And in colder regions, some bunkers are now tapping into geothermal heat buried beneath the earth. But physical survival is only half the battle. Long-term confinement breaks people. NASA studies have shown how even astronauts, highly trained professionals, suffer after extended periods in isolation. Now imagine that with no mission, no return date, just an endless wait in silence. Some bunkers are experimenting with artificial skylines and circadian lighting systems to simulate time, but the psychological toll is real. Even the richest can't buy their way out of a cabin fever if the end drags on too long. So what kind of world are they preparing for? They're not all preparing for the same ending. Some fear nuclear war, the kind that leaves cities in ash and skies in fire. Others like Reid Hoffman have spoken about civil collapse triggered by inequality and misinformation spiraling out of control. Elon Musk have warned that AI could destroy us from the inside, and Peter Thiel has privately worried about bioengineered pandemic that kills more than COVID ever could. In one off-the-record conversation, a venture capitalist admitted his biggest fear wasn't war or climate, but an irreversible breakdown of trust, where people stop believing in money, government, and each other. That's when chaos spreads faster than any virus. What unites them isn't the how, it's the when. No one agrees on the scenario, but most agree something's coming. They're not waiting for proof, they're acting while they still can. That leads to a bigger question. In private circles, it's not if, it's when. The elite aren't watching the news the same way the rest of us are. They're preparing for its total breakdown. Many of them have lost faith in governments to respond quickly, fairly, or even logically to crisis. COVID was just the test run. This isn't about surviving with society, it's about surviving despite it, and for some, that survival may mean leaving Earth altogether, but some are thinking even bigger. For Elon Musk, the bunker isn't the backup, it's the launch pad. SpaceX isn't just about rockets, it's a contingency plan for humanity. His vision of a Mars colony isn't fiction, it's a serious billion-dollar mission to make humans multiplanetary in case Earth becomes uninhabitable. Jeff Bezos has his own version. Through Blue Origin, he's pushing for giant space habitats, self-sustaining stations orbiting Earth that could hold millions. To him, Earth is for living, space is for working. The long-term goal isn't shelter, it's escape. These aren't passion projects. They're insurance policies for the species. While Earth bunkers are temporary bandages, these ventures aim to leave the patient behind entirely. Survival in this context doesn't mean rebuilding, it means relocating. That's the future. So what does the past tell us? The idea of bunkering isn't new, it's just evolved. During the Cold War, governments built massive underground complexes designed to house Congress in case of nuclear war. But back then, survival was about continuity of government. Now it's about continuity of wealth. Past elites planned to protect nations. Today's billionaires are planning to protect themselves. What started as military necessity has morphed into private luxury. The concrete and steel bomb shelters of the 1960s have given way to designer bunkers with spas, cinemas, and biometric scanners. It's a clear shift from public protection to private preservation. The elite aren't waiting for governments anymore. They're building their own. But not everyone is applauding these efforts. To some, billionaire bunkers aren't just a plan, they're a betrayal. Critics argue that instead of using vast wealth to strengthen society's safety nets, the ultra-rich are building lifeboats and leaving the rest to drown. When billionaires like Peter Thiel vanish into fortified retreats while cities burn, it sparks a deep moral question. Is it right to escape a mess you could help clean up? Some ethicists warn that this kind of privatized survival only accelerates collapse. If the wealthy believe they can opt out, what incentive remains to fix the system? The bunker becomes a symbol, not for preparedness, but for abandonment. And maybe that's the scariest part. So are they right to prepare, or just scared of losing control? Billionaire bunkers aren't just about survival, they're signals. When the wealthiest people on earth start preparing to live without the rest of us, it reveals something deeper. Trust in the collective future is fading. The idea that some lives are worth preserving more than others isn't new. But now it's fortified in steel, concrete, and biometric locks. This kind of survivalism draws a harsh line, one built on inequality. If society collapses, who gets saved? Not the most moral or the most useful, but the most capitalized. The bunker becomes a gatekeeping device for the post-apocalypse. Maybe the world isn't ending. Maybe it's just being rebooted by the people who can afford the reset button. The rest left watching from the surface. What would you do if you had the money to build a bunker? Leave your thoughts in the comments.